Okay, so while we are waiting for Gabriel to join back,
Hello, can you hear me now? Good morning.
okay, yes, welcome back, Gabriel. Good morning.
Right, thank you very much. My name is Gabriel. I am the lead sustainable sourcing expert for the north western part of the country, part of Nigeria. Uh, so I'll be taking you through mastering commodity sourcing and crop specification in agribusiness. Basically, understanding seasonal variations in commodity sourcing and actually sharing about specific crop quality specification for grains. If I'm unable to share my screen, please, can you enable that for me, please?
Okay, I've enabled that. You can share your screen now.
Thank you. I believe everybody can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right, thank you. So understanding seasonal variations in commodity sourcing. So it's quite expedient for us to know that Nigeria has different agricultural zones, and it's important for us to understand the seasonal variations in each region. We are actually blessed as a country with about six agricultural zones, which are the savannas. We have the Guinea savanna, the Sahel savanna, the Sudan savanna. We have the fresh and the rainforest region. We have the mangroves, and it is also very important for us to know that the majorly this Sudan and the Guinea savanna actually um, locations where we get high volumes of grains and some of the cash crops. Basically, the grain crops are actually annual crops that have a lifespan of a year. And we have, for example, grains like maize, paddy rice, sorghum, soya beans, wheat, and yes, and some others. Then, whilst cash crops, basically within the southwestern and southeast, southern part of the country, uh, uh, producing cocoa, oil, palm, cassava, and others. Actually, agriculture are basically biennial crops, and some of them are perennial crops. Um, and the span they have lifespan of from 2 to 2 years above. So we have some crops within other agricultural zones like the fruit crops, the vegetable crop. But there's one thing that is quite important for us to note here, that um, the the agricultural zones are actually characterized by weather and climatic patterns, and there's some also yes, they're also being characterized by some edaphic factors, soil factors, and these variations actually makes it possible for some of the grain crops, some of the cash crops to actually thrive within those locations. Climatic and weather factors like rainfall, um, temperature, relative humidity. So it's also very important to note that in Nigeria we have two basic agricultural seasons. We have the wet season, we have the dry season, and the wet season spans between April to October. In fact, this season is actually being uh, utilized for farming activities, whereby a large number of farmers actually launch into the farm. They go into land preparation, and that lasts till when the crops are being harvested. And few of those farmers actually uh, do dry season depending on the availability of irrigation facilities and all that, and this pass with from November until March depending on the location of the country. So it's quite important, even as we tend to master commodity sourcing, to be able to note the rainfall production period and the dry season production period. So basically it's important also for us to note that our focus crop, and Zowasel is actually within two main crops. We have the grain crops and the cash crops. The grain crops, we have maize, paddy rice, sorghum, soya beans and wheat, and cash crops, cocoa, oil palm, fresh fruit bunch for oil palm, and we have cassava, we have ginger, and sesame. So in order to have basic understanding of this, there's need for us to research about specific quality standards. There's need to research about the growth requirements and harvesting practices um, of um, of several crops, so that so as to guide our sourcing pattern and within our regions. So very good knowledge about the crop specifications, the quality standards is actually quite important to guide the sourcing pattern over the period of time. And regular communication with suppliers and stakeholders within the agricultural sector also will help us and keep us informed about quality standards um, of crops. So so the quality standard qualification for grains now is so now it's important to carry out due diligence when sourcing for commodities, uh, testing for qualities before delivery. So looking out for the kind of the crops, the types of varieties of crop, or of the crop that has been to be supplied, looking at the moisture content and all that. So it's important to take out time to actually look at what are the specific steps I one need to take in terms of sourcing for commodity. How do we engage with sellers of those commodities in order to meet the buyer's demand? I think it's quite also important also to ensure. I mean, to because in Zowasel, what we actually do is that we engage with smallholder farmers, give them gap training about how these crops should be produced and the techniques that is needed for the post-harvest period, and how they should take care of their crops in order to avoid several foreign matters and to ensure that those crops are actually being by buyers. Now, so we have several buyers on our platform. We have Ola. So, so if you're muting.
Oh no, that's a mistake.
All right. So we have several buyers on our platform. We have Olams, we have Toleram, Flour Mills, Promasidor, Grand Cereals. Those are those. We have Wilma, we have Guinness, Barricalibok, we have Toleram, and others. Now, every buyer have specific quality of crops that they require. So it's important for suppliers to actually take note of some of the specific crop specifications that they are meant to during the period of supply to these buyers over some time. And I have highlighted some of the specific crop specifications. Now, all grains actually need to be uniform and fit for human consumption for buyers and food processors. Now, several crop commodities that are being supplied are actually being used and being processed into finished products um, for human consumption, for animal consumption. So it's quite important that with suppliers take note of this and ensure that high quality crop are being supplied uh, to buyers. Now, I've highlighted some raw grains quality parameters that should be taken note of when supplying. Now, we have the moisture content, which is one of the very important uh, parameters while supplying grains. Now, the moisture content actually has to do with the amount of water in grains, and there's a level of acceptance of the moisture content by several buyers. So, but the most acceptable range spans between 7.5 to 11% of moisture content. So, the higher the moisture content in grains, the more there's tendency for it to deteriorate in terms of the temperature within the bag, the package bag start getting hotter, it increases microbial activities, then we start experiencing discoloration in the grains color. So moisture content is quite very important. So in order for us to ascertain the moisture content, there's need to use moisture meter to get the right moisture content that is required by specific buyers that needed us to supply uh, grains. So another thing that is quite important that buyers look out for is the color. Now, so majority of the buyers frown to discolored grains. So, and discolored grains could result uh, from the effects of high moisture content. It can actually come from probably immaturity. For example, soya beans, which actually comes in golden color or slightly brown color. By the time we realize that we are seeing greenish coloration on the sampled soya beans, then if the percentage of that is high, then there could be rejection from the back end of the buyer. So foreign matters also are actually quality parameter that are actually being looked out for. There's a certain percentage of acceptance of foreign matters, and foreign matters could be as a result of maybe presence of sand, dust, and maybe nails, broken bottles, metallic materials in packaged grains. So all these are things buyers actually look out for, and because of the hazardous nature of these foreign matters, it's quite important to look out for them. To actually use metal probe by checking the parts of the bags at the point of sourcing in order to ensure that we have limited or minimal foreign matter, or in fact absent foreign matters in the packet bag before supply to our buyers. So it's also important to also know that part of the quality parameter is being considered is the variety. Now we have the local varieties, we have the hybrid varieties. Now we have specific buyers that actually request for, okay, I need hybrid yellow maize of XYZ name, of XYZ um, um, uh, 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 maybe color or whatever. So buyers have specific varieties they request. So for example, we have Promacidor. They actually request for SC612 maize. They request for maybe Pioneer seed, yellow hybrid seed that have specifically. So these are the kind of things that buyers actually look out for. The kernel size, which must be big in size and must look so healthy, also what is being looked out for. The glooms, usually in sorghum, and there's a certain percentage of acceptable glooms that is actually acceptable for sorghum, for instance. Then weevils, majority of the buyers actually need dead grains to be supplied that is absent of a weevil infestation. The activities of weevil infestation actually causes quick deterioration of the grains, and it reduces the quality, perforations or on grains. These are qualities that are being looked out for that buyers actually frown at. So let's ensure that as we supply, there's minimal weevil infestation on the grains, and if possible there's no weevil infestation. So healthy grains are something they look out for, and by the time we supply healthy grains, we experience no rejection at all. So broken grain, there's a particular percentage of broken grain that's acceptable. Immature grains are not acceptable. There's and if you, even though there's it's present maybe acceptable percentage of 1%, old grains are not acceptable. Now it's also very important for us to know that now that we're entering almost the bumper harvest season, there might be available old grains. So suppliers might want to be tempted to to mix old grains with new grains. So please, I think old grains actually have reduced quality. They have smell. And by the time you mix them up, it reduces like I mean, it doesn't make sense to the buyer. So please, let's avoid um uh mixing old grains with new grains at the point of supply, especially when the new ones are out. So aflatoxin communism, there's a particular percentage that's accepted. Then by the time the duration of the grains is past 12 months duration, then we experience some maybe molding and all that, weevil infestation. We experience bad smell. So all these are specific qualities that should be looked out for um, for grains. So let me emphasize on the effects of foreign matters. One of the effects of foreign matter, like dust, uh, sand, and stones in grains, it actually has aluminium content, which is toxic to to man, causes stunted growth, dullness in the brain, cancer, and probably death. So it's important for us to use our metal probe in checking these bags to ensure that there is absence of sand in the package grains before supply to our buyers. So also there are several conditions for rejection, even as we have talked about the specific some of the characteristics or the quality parameters of the grain. So conditions for rejection of grains now: if the moisture content is high, if you have discolored grains, molds as a result of high moisture content, foreign matters, grains with evidence of mold, glumes, weevils infestation, uh, aflatoxins, mixed grains, old and new, presence of feminism, aflatoxin are actually conditions that could lead to rejection uh, of uh, grains being supplied. I believe Mr. David Aribidu is going to talk about more on cash crops as regards the quality parameters and the factors that could lead to its rejection when the proper when it's not properly when the quality parameter is not being met. So also it's also very important to highlight some hazardous materials, bad grains as a result of high moisture content. It molds, changes color, and and this occurs whilst it's not properly dried. And fungal damaged grain is not accepted. They're hazardous to human health and not fit for consumption. Active fumigants like the phostotoxin, as the yes, the tablets used in preserving grains and to prevent weevil infestation are very harmful. So at the point of supply, let's just ensure that it's very minimal and or probably absent before supply. So yes, so because of time, let me just jump to this. By the time, okay, we want to we are sourcing and we probably want to keep those grains for a period of time before taking them to the market. It's important also to ensure that the grains are properly dried before storage. Let us ensure that we use pallets, and let us avoid direct contact with wall floor contact. Then it's important also for us to inspect the warehouse before storage of grains. Then it's important also to clean the warehouse areas properly and to ensure that there's consistent examination of these grains regularly to ensure and so as to avoid weevils from attacking and destroying all those grains. So these are samples of some of the rejected grains in the past by some of our buyers. You know, some of the suppliers have actually experienced total rejection of some grains. So in order to avoid such a disaster at the point of supply, it is important for us to take note of the quality specification for grains. It's important for us to adhere to um, to these qualities and to ensure that we supply acceptable parameters of quality specifications by our suppliers. So I'm going to stop here for Mr. Choma, for probably David to continue. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that insightful section, Gabriel. David, it's you have the floor. Let me share your screen.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, David. We can hear you.
Yes, I'll be taking us through mastering commodity sourcing and cross specification. Then, this discussion will be focused on key factors that we need to put into consideration to have a successful business in the commodity value chain. We'll be looking into market analysis, specifications and quality standard, supplier selections, crop management, traceability and sustainability, risk management, collaboration and networking, legal and regulatory compliance, research and continuous knowledge. To start with market analysis, this market analysis is very necessary in order for us to understand the dynamics of the demand and supply, and for us to also understand price fluctuation and emerging trends. Some of us go into this commodity trading without understanding the key concept of the market. In a situation whereby maybe some of us, during the peak season of cocoa, we may decide to buy and store, hoping that maybe in months to come, the price of the cocoa will increase and will be selling at higher price. But there are some other key factors that we need to look into in order for us not to make such silly mistakes. That is losing our money. The first thing we need to consider is one, production pattern compared to preceding years. If we did not consider the production pattern of the production last year to this year to know maybe the supply is more than the demand in the market, or maybe those our cocoa production, maybe the same farmland that is giving you 4 tons is now giving you 3 tons this year. That is an indication to tell you that in the long run there will be scarcity of cocoa because the production is lesser than that of the last year that you have the surplus. Then for other commodities like the soybeans and the maize value chain, in places where there are crises or in a situation whereby there is flood or other natural disasters like fire outbreak that cut across many farms, mostly you will discover that presently now we are buying maize at a very high price compared to what we did last year and other years. The main reason behind this is as a result of the crisis in the northern region that are into most of this production, and at the same time, flooding and other natural disasters that are associated with the production. So farmers cannot go to farm. That is why the demand for this product is more than the quantity that is available in the market. So we need to sit back and analyze what the production pattern is. That will guide our market analysis and make us make informed decisions on either we can hold our buying, know when to sell, and know when not to sell. Then again, we have quality standard. We need to familiarize ourselves with quality standard and specification for focused commodities. And what are the things we look for in these commodities? Just like Mr. Gabriel mentioned, we need to understand the moisture content. This moisture content is the most important part of these parameters. And why is it important? If the moisture content is high, if you store, the product you are storing will definitely acidify and get spoiled or even decay. The weight you are buying and you are putting in your warehouse in the course of high moisture, staying in your warehouse, it will continue drying off, thereby making you to lose weight. Not only that, also, moisture content in other commodities can cause us a colossal loss of quality, like for situation of cashew. If you buy cashew and you did not properly sun dry it to the normal moisture content of 10, or for grains and you do not store it to the normal you do not sun dry to the normal moisture content, you will discover that the kernel output return of that cashew nut will start deteriorating, and before you know it, you may have a quality of 50 KOR before, and due to lack of proper sun drying, you may end up having 40 KOR before you load out of your warehouse. Then foreign matters. We need to understand the demand of each of organizations we are dealing with. Some organizations take 0% foreign matters, and some, they may take some little percentage of these foreign matters. So immediately we are going into this commodity sourcing, we need to understand what this organization is doing in terms of their specifications, in terms of the moisture content, foreign matters, impurities, size, and color. So understanding this requirement now will not make us to go and do sourcing, hoping to sell to companies like flour mills, and we take it to the farm gate and they are not ready to take from us. Or in a situation whereby you bring it to the Zowasel crop center and your product meets rejection. So if you are going into sourcing of this product, try as much as possible to have the quality parameters. Apart from that, supplier selection. You need to consider the type of market you are going into. The process in selecting supplier mostly needs to do with capacity, track record, and reputation of such suppliers. We find a situation whereby you give money advancing maybe LBAs to go to the market, and without knowing the proper reputation or track record of that person, you may end up losing your money. So in this type of situation, you need to know each of the suppliers, that each of the LBAs you are engaging to source for you in each of these locations. Or even if the need be, you yourself go for yourself to do the sourcing. Then at the same time, when you are sourcing, the volume you are sourcing also is also a factor. If you are looking for smaller volume of like maybe 10 trucks, you can consider farmers group, farmers and LBAs. But if you are looking for bigger volume, definitely you need to consider groups like the cooperative societies and the merchant in order for you to meet the specifications and the demand of the of where you are delivering to. And the reason why this is very important is because for you to meet up with what your buyer is requesting, you must be able to prove this capacity. And if you are unable to select these your suppliers and know the capacity of each of them, it won't help you to make informed decisions on the volume you can deliver. Then, in terms of crop selection, we need to work with organizations like Zowasel, because in each of the regions across the federation, we have our crop centers where we give good agricultural practices, train farmers on commodity handling, and also at the same time assist them to make informed decisions on the types of varieties they can plant, the soil conditions that is suitable for planting, market requirements, and other factors that will yield potential results. And at the same time also, we also recommend to farmers when they are selecting their seed to plant, the type of seed to plant, such one that will be disease resistant and at the same time be suitable to end users, either human or those in the production of animal feed. Then this crop management also, as we are doing this in each of these crop centers, we have an arrangement in which most of these inputs that are the best inputs, we have it available in each of these crop centers, which you can reach out to our staffs in this center, and they will be ready to assist you. So that, and the assist they will be able to give you involves planning techniques, planting techniques, your fertilization rate, your irrigation rate, your crop protection, and post-harvest handling. This post-harvest handling is very necessary because each of these our staff in each of these tractors, in each of these operation centers, are well informed about the post-harvest handling of your particular commodity, either cocoa, either cashew, either maize, either soybean, in such a way to meet the demand of any organization across in which you are delivering to. And at the same time, and you don't know how to go about it, train to put you through the specification parameters in such a way that we have a profitable delivery. Then traceability and sustainability. Our organization also can help you in detailing. If you enroll on a platform, it can help you in detailing all your productions in terms of the volume of the commodity you bring. You can grade in our center. After grading, we help you get a fair trade price. And at the same time, if after the whole year, you are able to work with us to achieve the premium product that is required by us, just like the one we are dealing with Barry-Callebaut in Ondo presently for the cocoa aggregation. Those are our farmers that are able to give us premium products are receiving their premium presently now. So in a case, maybe their production is untraceable, the way we source from them is not giving back to the society that it will be sustainable, this premium cannot get to them. So Zowasel will help you to trace, track, at the same time help you sell with a fair price, and at the same time give you the premium at the end of the operations. Then we have risk management. We need to understand some potential risks and challenges of each commodity value chain, such as weather-related issues, pest diseases, market volatility, transportation disruption. So as a matter of risk management, part of what we do in Zowasel is that we have people, we have organizations who have insurance for us. So as far as you are trading on our platform, there is a premium we are going to charge for the insurance. And when you do it, should in case you have a weather-related issue, pest, disease, transportation, in a case maybe you are transporting your goods and it has accident along the way, you are not just coming to say, oh, you lost your product, because every of these products that we are being aggregated through our crop center will be properly insured. So that will help you settle the issue of risk associated with commodity aggregation. Then we have collaboration and networking. Our vast network of experience across the Federation makes us to gather this enough experience to tell you more about commodity, farmer, processor, trader, and exporters, and local buying agents, which we also have on our platform. So going into commodity, you can partner with organizations like us, and this will give you a good leverage on farmers group, processor, trader, exporter, in order for you to excel in your trading business. Then, the legal and regulatory compliances. We are aware of most of the relevant laws, regulations, and policy related to commodity of interest. So in this regard, you can visit any of our centers, or at the same time get onboarded on our platform to know more about most of these relevant regulations and policy, so that it can make you make informed decisions about compliances. Most of those compliances need to do with phytosanitary certificate, quality standard, and to avoid legal market and access issue crisis. Now, we will advise you to keep yourself updated with Zowasel research, practices and innovation of different commodity production, processing and marketing, and also subscribe to our industry, our publications and webinars, just like the one you are joining now. And at the same time, if you have a professional organization, you can also partner with us in order to enhance your knowledge and skills about sustainable commodity sourcing. So focusing on this aspect, you can now develop a strong foundation in mastering commodity sourcing and cross specification in your commodity of interest value chain.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you so much for this insightful section. Now it's time for questions. Does anyone have any questions for us? You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Mr. Okun. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, I have a little question. If for example, does Zowasel, or can it undertake, for example, to assist in sourcing for a commodity that one is looking for on behalf of one of the clients?
Gabriel, will you be able to answer that or should I proceed?
Diploma, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually we have some selected crops, but yes, we actually assist with sourcing for commodities for the clients. So we also have big corporates that are signed up on our platform, like Gabriel mentioned, that signed up on our platform that need some commodities. So they reach out to us, and we help them source them from different merchants.
Okay, so if one reached out to you, you could actually assist in sourcing for commodities.
Yeah,
All right.
yes,
Okay.
yes, we
Thank
can.
you. Thank you.
Is there any other question, please?